Hey, thanks for being here. So we are on number 4. If you haven't been following along, I'm doing a number series, really quick videos of little tips about what's coming to the mind. And this is number 4. So if you haven't watched 1, 2, 3, go back and watch those and then follow up with a few numbers after this. Number 4 is 4 holistic mental methods is what I'm calling it. So here they are. Okay, so I have 4 holistic approaches to overall mental health, emotional health, whatever you want to call it, and then I have a bonus one at the end. The first one is oils. You might not be into this, and that's totally fine. You don't have to be into it either. But if you're a little leery of medication or something like that, or honestly, if you're like, I want to go to therapy, but I can't afford therapy, or I just will try anything, right? If any of those apply to you, oils might be something to try. Essential oils come from like way back when, right? That was kind of the first source of medicine, and I know it's kind of viewed as the hippie version now, but there can be mixed reviews on that. But you know what? I think that if it's something that you're interested in trying, give it a try. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. But if you dig into it, you might find that there really is some credit and some research behind it as well. There are oils out there that I'm not going to speak to any certain line of product, but there are certain product lines out there that have emotional support. And so they have kind of all their more medical based ones, like if you have a cough or a cold, you use these certain ones. But they also have ones that have a whole line of emotional support. So ones that can be mood boosting, or ones that can help with like I use one for my daughter that has lots of energy, and it can help them be more balanced, or things like that, just a little bit more steady, something like that. So there's a whole emotional line, and if you're, like I said, if you're just looking for a different approach, oils might be one for you. Okay, the next one is exercise. I know, if you've watched any of my videos, you've heard me say this, but honestly, the reason I say it is because I totally believe it and I practice it. I absolutely have gone through phases where I don't exercise for a while and I fall off the wagon or whatever, and then I get back on it. I'm not trying to speak to any unrealistic goals, but I am positive that I just feel like a better human when I actually exercise somewhat regularly, right? Which to me that means like 3 to 4 times a week would be somewhat regularly. So because I think you kind of have to be consistent with it within the week for it to really take effect. But from my own personal experience, I have exercised in all these videos because there's, first of all, a ton of science and research to back up how much exercise benefits your body in a million different ways. Like, it's just all good things. So there's that. And the other part of it is I just truly know it makes a difference for my own self. And that's why I'm willing to speak up and say, hey, this really does do something. So get out there and exercise. The next one is real food. This one is hard, right? Because sometimes there's lots of things out there about, like, I don't know, I don't want to be organic, or I don't want to be, what's the trendy, keto, whatever. I don't want to, like, maybe those things are not for me, whatever. Or the biggest one I think people struggle with is sometimes money, or it being expensive to eat a little bit more clean or healthy with real food, or maybe a little bit of like just not knowing how or what to cook or whatever. But the resources are out there. You just need to look for them. Whole, real food makes such a difference on how your body operates. I have another video that I plan to do, if I haven't already, about our mind-gut connection, and also there's like a ton out there that if you want to dig into that at all, the connection is huge between our mind and our gut, meaning there's tons of hormones and all that kind of stuff actually in our gut and not just our mind, and meaning like brain mind. There's a ton of that there, and what we eat makes a huge difference on our mood and our hormone balance and all of that kind of stuff. So like I said, there will be another video on that because there's so much information to share with you on that stuff, but I'm just going to give you the brief quick tip of real food is a very holistic, very powerful way to improve your mental place or your emotional health. It's really, really, really powerful. So look into that more if you're curious. Okay, acupuncture. This is another holistic, right? This is the point of this video. I'm not saying you have to do acupuncture, but these are the holistic tips for you. Acupuncture is an Eastern Chinese medicine, right, that does a lot for, it can do a lot for physical ailments and issues, but it also does a lot for mental and emotional stability as well. So if you're curious about it, I would just encourage you, obviously there's probably YouTube videos on it, or maybe you know someone that's done it, or maybe you just need to look up what it is and find a local acupuncture person. And if it was me, I would just call them up and be like, hey, I'm really not sure I buy into this. I'm not really sure what it is. Can you just inform me or whatnot? But again, I think this is a thing that it's a good practice. It's not something that's going to be potentially harmful. And so if you're at a place of, again, like I said at the beginning, I don't want to do meds, I don't want to do this, or I just need to try anything and everything and see what works for me, acupuncture can be on the list of potentially something that's helpful for you on the more holistic route. Okay, this is my bonus tip. I already went through the other 4: oils, exercise, real food, and acupuncture. And my bonus one for you is contentment. This is, I listed this on a holistic, on the holistic video here because it comes from within and it comes from a real place and it's not manufactured. It's real. If you feel content where you're at and with who you are as a person, that is probably the most powerful out of all of the things that I've mentioned. And believe me, I know that that can be really hard. You might actually not feel very content in your marriage, in the place that you live, in your job, in your friendships, family, whatever it is. You might really not feel so content. And I get that. So I'm not suggesting you fake it. But I do think there's so much power in figuring out how to be content in that place that doesn't feel so great, right? In any of those situations, it might be a little bit of a stuck feeling. And I'm not saying a grin and bear it, right? Like, I'm just gonna get through this and pretend I'm content. I mean, dig deep and say, you know what, I am gonna make the best of this, even though I don't really like it right now. Or even though I see all these things wrong with it, I'm gonna shift perspective here and see some good with it and find some good with it, because I bet you it's there. And maybe this can be, you know, taken apart into many different pieces. Maybe there is a change that needs to happen, but overall, you might not be able to change your situation, but you can change how you feel on the inside and what's going on with you. And if you can work on being content with yourself and being content with who you are and where you're at, that can make some of the greatest difference in your life. So stick around for the next video and we'll see you next time.